Kirkman. Hello and welcome back to our last lesson on order of operations. We're going to take everything that we learned and practice, and we're going to show you a specific way to kind of organize your lesson, your information that will help you in the future. Okay, so today we're going to use order of operations to solve expressions, and we're going to organize our work by rewriting equivalent expressions below the original expression. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So here I have my little GEMDAS diagram so we can remind ourselves the order of operations, and I'm going to go ahead and work through the order. So the first thing that I'm going to do in this problem here is my grouping symbol. So we're going to go ahead and solve this right here. Now, you might notice that we have this triangle shape on the screen. This is here to help us organize our writing, rewriting the expression as we solve each piece, so that eventually we'll end up with one singular answer. This is super important in algebra, as in the future you will be doing an entire page of work for one problem. And if you are not organized and you do not show all of your steps, then you are going to have to do that problem again and again if you make a mistake. Whereas if I show all my work, I can look back at my work, find a mistake, and fix it easily. So being neat and organized is super important in algebra. So that's what we're going to work on here. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So the first thing, like I said, I'm going to do are the parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and right underneath these parentheses, I'm going to write the answer to 3 plus 2, which is 5. I am now going to rewrite my entire expression except for that part I just solved. Okay, so you can see here that I took out the parentheses. These are no longer there, and instead I just wrote the answer to 3 plus 2. Now I have an entirely new expression. This could be a brand new problem that somebody could give you. 210 take away 5 times 5 squared. And I'm going to now ignore this first part. I'm now going to solve this new expression and again, rewrite. And I'm going to keep doing this process until I get an answer. Okay, so that was step 1. Step 2, I'm going to go ahead and do these exponents. I have no more grouping symbols. Those are gone. So I'm moving on to exponents. So I am going to go ahead and write the answer underneath. Okay, so 5 squared is 5 times 5. So if I need to do work on the side, I'm going to do it away from my problem. 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm going to go ahead and write my answer here. And then again, I'm rewriting. I'm just dragging down all the pieces I haven't touched underneath it to make another equivalent expression. So I went from 210 take away 3 times the quantity, in parentheses 3 plus 2, times 5 squared. That now I have 210 take away 5 times 5 squared. Now I have 210 take away 5 times 25. And I'm going to do it again. So let's go ahead and change up our colors so you can see our steps. Now we can see that there's no more exponents, there's no more grouping symbols. We're going to go ahead and do multiplication or division from left to right. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 25. So over to the side, if I need to do any work, I'm going to do it out of the way so I can keep my algebra work organized. I'm going to do 25 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. That's 125. So now I have 210 take away 125. So my answer went directly underneath the part I solved, and I brought down the piece I haven't touched yet. We're almost done. The last thing to do is addition or subtraction from left to right, and the only operation I have left is subtraction. So right underneath, I'm going to go ahead and do 210 take away 125. And again, if I need to do any work by hand, I'm going to do that over to the side, out of the way, so that my kind of this triangle of expressions can kind of piddle down like a ladder, can just fall down, and we can get our answer really easily. All right, so I'm going to subtract. I'm going to have to borrow or regroup. well, because we borrowed here, so this was a 0, so now I'm going to add it there. Okay, and I'm going to get a 5 here, an 8 here, and that's at 85. My final answer is 85. Okay, we're going to do this over and over and over and over and over again. So if you didn't get it this time, that's okay. Write this down, stay with me, and we're going to do it again so you can practice some more. All right, here we are again. So this time I'm going to start over here. So I've got my grouping symbols. That means I'm going to solve what's in these parentheses first. Now, when you have a set of parentheses, that's a grouping symbol. If you have multiple operations inside your grouping symbol, that's almost like its own problem. We're actually going to start our order of operations again inside those parentheses, and we're going to end up doing our exponents inside those parentheses first. Okay, so I'm actually just going to rewrite this parenthesis because I'm not ready to do that yet. And instead, I'm going to go ahead and solve 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, that's 9. And then I'm going to finish up my parenthesis so that I can now continue by solving my grouping symbols next. So you have to think parentheses kind of group things, and then inside that grouping, you are going to do order of operations again. So like I said, if there's multiple operations inside of parentheses, you're going to start over in your order of operations inside those parentheses. Now that we've solved our multiple problems inside the parentheses, we can now go ahead and do just the grouping symbols. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 2. I'm going to now do 4 take away 2, which is 2. Keeping those parentheses there because in this case, this parenthesis, when you have a number outside of a parenthesis like that, that is the same thing as multiplication. All of these 3 symbols right here all mean multiplication. Multiplication. Okay. So this parenthesis right here, this is really an operation. It's not a grouping symbol in this case. All right, and now I'm going to do 9 take away 8, which is 1. So my new expression is 2 times 2 plus 1. All right, now I've got no more exponents. We're going to go ahead and do our multiplication and division. We're going to multiply these 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Bring down the rest of my problem. And now I'm going to come back to addition and subtraction. So my final answer here is 5. Okay, again. All right, here we go, another problem. So I do not have any grouping symbols in this problem, so we're going to skip that step. And instead, I'm going to look for my exponents. We're going to start here with this 3 to the power of 2. Rewriting everything else that I see and solving this first. 3 to the second power is 9. Okay. I do not have any more exponents, so we're going to go on to multiplication or division, and in this case, we have division. So we're going to go ahead and do 5 plus 12 divided by 9. That doesn't go in evenly, so I'm going to have to do some long division to get my answer. Okay, 9 does not go into 1, but it does go into 12 one time. Nine does not go into 30, but evenly, but it does go in unevenly 3 times. Oh, and now I'm going to get a repeating decimal here, so that's going to repeat. So we're going to just round it to 1.33. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and add, and I'm going to get 6.33. Technically repeating. That's my answer here. And here we go again. Now you may notice in this one, I don't have the handy dandy triangle to kind of help me organize my work. We have to start doing this on our own. So I'm going to show you what that looks like when we do it on our own. So I do not have any grouping symbols. but I do have an exponent, so I'm going to do 3 squared first. I'm rewriting everything else. My answer to 3 squared is 9, and then I'm rewriting the rest of my expression. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch, and I have some division again. So we're going to go ahead and divide. I'm going to do 21 plus, and I'm going to do the answer here. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And you can see that even though there's no triangle, it's all starting to kind of go inwards a little bit, piece by piece. All right, last thing we're going to do is our addition here. So 21 plus 3 is 24, and that is my answer. All right, so the rest of these problems that we have, and you can see over here, we have a lot of practice problems. If you have the note paper, you can see that as well. We're doing the same thing over and over and over again because practice makes progress. And the more you practice, the better you're going to get. What I would recommend if you're joining me at home is every time that I start a new problem, you're going to pause the video and do it. Then join me and see if you get the right answer. I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to show you the answer. And then I'm going to pause and I'm going to do the whole answer there so that we can get all of the answers in this video. And then when you come back to join me, you'll have all of the answers, like all the work and everything there, and you can pause and look at what I did and compare it to your own work. All right, here we go. So 21 is the answer to this next one. Nice and light and easy for you working on your own. Here is the next problem. Pause and then check in with me. Okay, another pretty simple one, except that when we do 4 divided by 8, you are going to get a fraction or decimal answer. If you did 0.5 or 0.50, that also works. Here's our next problem. This next one is only addition or subtraction, so I'm just moving left to right. So I did 14 take away 5 first, and then I added that 3. Let's keep going. All right, in this next one, we did our parentheses first, then multiplication, and then subtraction. Let's see if I can get down. There we go. Next problem. All right, we're getting more complicated here. You can see we've got an exponent with some bigger numbers. Then we multiplied, and then we're going to go addition and subtraction from left to right. So we subtracted first and then added to get 67. All right, there's one more problem in this practice lesson. I'm going to not pause on this one. I'm going to show it to you. It's a challenge question. So in this challenge question, you have to figure out where these operations go. Where do these signs go in this problem to make this equation true? There's going to be some trial and error. You're probably going to place some signs and try it and see if that worked out. And if it doesn't work out, try a different one. I, again, recommend that you pause the video here, try some operations, and then join me again to see what works and what doesn't work. It does say up here, though, that you can use the signs more than once. So you could put an addition sign more than once or subtraction, but you do need to use all 3 signs at least once. All right, good luck. Whew, well, that was a challenge. So I left all of my attempts on the screen so that you can kind of see my thought process. First, I just kind of put random things in and kind of played around with the numbers. I put in addition, subtraction, multiplication, subtraction. I solved those using order of operations, and I wasn't anywhere close. So then I started thinking about the numbers that things make, right? This makes 18. This makes 16. 16 and 18, how can I get to 36? So I came over here. I still added the 12 and the 4, but then I started thinking, well, maybe we'll multiply the 3 times the 7, and I end up with 30. So that was kind of close. So I tried again, but this time times the 6 times the 3, and subtracted 12 take away 4, and I ended up with 33. Then over here, I started playing around, and originally I was going to multiply the 3 times 7, but then I figured out if I multiply the 6 times the 3, that's going to be a lot better, a lot closer. So this is how I ended up with my final answer. 12 times 4 is 48. 6 times 3 is 18. Now I can subtract from left to right. 48 take away 18 is 30, plus 7 is 37. So this is our final answer for this challenge question. I hope that you enjoyed working through this. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.